The old mansion on the hill had been abandoned for decades, but the townsfolk still whispered about it. They said that anyone who ventured inside never returned the same, if they returned at all. One cold, moonless night, four friends, Mark, Sarah, John, and Lisa, decided to put the legends to the test. Armed with flashlights and a sense of bravado, they approached the crumbling edifice. As they stepped inside, the door creaked shut behind them with a resounding thud. Their flashlights barely pierced the darkness, casting eerie shadows on the peeling wallpaper and cracked floors. The air was thick with the scent of mildew and something else, something metallic. "Let's split up and cover more ground," Mark suggested, trying to hide the tremor in his voice. They agreed, and each took a different direction. Sarah ventured into the kitchen, where rusted utensils hung from the ceiling like forgotten memories. She shivered, feeling an inexplicable chill. Suddenly, a cold, bony hand clamped down on her shoulder. She screamed, but when she turned around, no one was there. Her flashlight flickered and then died, plunging her into darkness. She fumbled for her phone, but it too refused to work. Panic set in as she felt unseen eyes watching her every move. Meanwhile, John found himself in the living room, where an old, dust-covered piano stood. He couldn't resist pressing a key, and the discordant note echoed through the mansion. The sound seemed to awaken something. The air grew colder, and he felt an overwhelming sense of dread. The walls seemed to close in on him, and he heard whispers, faint at first, then louder, chanting his name in a sinister chorus. He backed away, only to trip over something soft and yielding. Looking down, he saw a body, Mark's lifeless eyes staring up at him in horror. Lisa explored the upstairs bedrooms, each one more decrepit than the last. She entered a nursery, where a broken crib lay in the corner. The room was filled with old toys, their painted faces twisted into grotesque smiles. She felt a tug on her sleeve and looked down to see a small, ghostly child clutching her arm. The child's eyes were hollow, and its mouth opened in a silent scream. Lisa tried to pull away, but the child's grip tightened, dragging her towards the crib. Her screams echoed through the empty house. Mark, hearing the screams of his friends, rushed through the halls, his flashlight flickering wildly. He burst into a room and found Sarah and John huddled together, pale and trembling. "We need to get out of here! Now!" he shouted. But as they turned to leave, they saw Lisa standing in the doorway. Her eyes were empty, and a sinister smile played on her lips. "You can't leave," she whispered, her voice echoing with otherworldly resonance. "You're part of the house now." The friends tried to run, but the house seemed to shift and change, leading them deeper into its malevolent heart. Rooms morphed and twisted, trapping them in a never-ending maze. The walls pulsed with a life of their own, and ghostly figures emerged from the shadows, their hollow eyes filled with sorrow and rage. One by one, the friends were claimed by the mansion, their screams blending with the haunted whispers that filled the air. The old house on the hill stood silent once more, waiting for its next visitors, its next victims,